Hi, I'm Perry Red, candidate for the Ward 4 seat on the D.C. Council in this 2020 election. I want to give you another reason to vote differently than you very likely voted in past elections. I am a consistent and dogged advocate for workers in the district. I've worked so very hard attempting to amend the Wage Theft Prevention Act, among the nation's most progressive pieces of legislation that protects workers. But progressive legislation in the hands of conservative-minded, even liberal council legislators is worthless. I've spent some years walking into the Department of Employment Services with workers to file claims to get their stolen wages, whether it be by overtime or failure to pay tips. Even with evidence of wage theft, our D.C. government allows employers, the business community, to get away with stealing our workers' wages. Our Inspector General issued findings substantiating what I claim here. And my opponent, coming out of the office of the Attorney General, is fine with that and is hardly concerned with those facts. But here's the problem. Great laws on paper aren't worth toilet tissue when those laws aren't enforced. I want wage theft prevention protections enforced. I've went to bat and to battle for and on behalf of DC's most vulnerable workers and made the case crystal clear before our DC Council. I have an ongoing list, like the push-button circle of hell when you call DOES, non-compliance with the 60-day determination of course, retaliation claims see no action. So we recommend default judgments when the employer elects to ignore DOES, penalties be enacted, and a timeline of 48 hours for a response. I've worked within community coalitions, with workers' rights organizations, and even with labor unions to protect the rights and wages of DC's workers. If you elect me, your council member, I commit to the kind of oversight that brings legal opinion to the complaints of individual filers with DOES through the Legislative Council. I'll oversee enforcement of a 60-day mandate to render a judgment when an employee has his or her wages stolen. I'll introduce legislation to create a workers' compensation fund, much like unemployment insurance, because workers still have to eat, feed their families, pay their rent once they file a claim for their stolen wages. Because as sure as you breathe God's air, employers will retaliate. I commit to bring enforcement to getting your hard-earned overtime wages when your employer chooses not to pay you. I'll be the strongest advocate for workers who are not members of unions, and make unions protect the workers who are. I am Perry Red, candidate for the Ward 4 seat on the D.C. Council, asking for your vote. New day, new work. And I approve this message.